A significant shift in cyber threats is unfolding in Brazil, as sophisticated banking Trojans are now being spread through trusted messaging platforms like WhatsApp. This change underscores the evolving tactics of cybercriminals who are increasingly leveraging familiar channels to compromise users. Recent reports indicate that the threat actor known as Water Saci is deploying a new multi-layered infection chain that utilizes HTML application files and PDFs. This campaign, which began to gain traction in early December 2025, is specifically targeting Brazilian users by sending messages from trusted contacts that encourage them to interact with malicious attachments. Next, we'll explore the details of this alarming trend and the implications it has for cybersecurity in Brazil. If you find this update helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to InfoSec Now for the latest cybersecurity news. Your support really helps us continue building useful content for cybersecurity professionals. If you found this update helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to InfoSec Now for the latest cybersecurity news. Your support really helps us continue building useful content for cybersecurity professionals. Timeline of the Water Saci attacks. The Water Saci cyber campaign has demonstrated a significant evolution in the tactics employed by cybercriminals in Brazil. Starting with its initial detection, the group began leveraging sophisticated infection chains that utilize HTML application (HTA) files and PDFs as delivery mechanisms via WhatsApp, marking a notable transition from their earlier methods. In December 2025, researchers identified a critical shift in the malware's architecture. The attackers moved away from utilizing PowerShell scripts, opting instead for a Python-based variant that enhances the worm-like propagation capabilities over WhatsApp web. This transition not only reflects the attacker's adaptability but also indicates a strategic use of programming languages that are increasingly effective at bypassing traditional security measures. Throughout this campaign, users have reported receiving seemingly innocuous messages from trusted contacts, urging them to download malicious attachments disguised as legitimate updates. This social engineering tactic exploits user trust, making it easier for the malware to infiltrate systems. The PDF lure, for instance, instructs victims to click on a link to update their Adobe Reader, initiating the infection process. The malware's architecture was designed to ensure resilience and speed. By incorporating features such as enhanced error handling and broader compatibility, the attackers have successfully accelerated the malware's spread and increased its chances of evading detection. The use of an auto-it script within the infection chain allows for meticulous checks of the victim's system, ensuring that the malware only activates under specific conditions, such as when the system language is Portuguese. Moreover, the malware's functionality is alarmingly comprehensive. It not only captures sensitive information but also actively monitors user activity across financial platforms, employing aggressive tactics to maintain persistence. If the malware's process is terminated, it has the capability to restart itself, ensuring continuous surveillance and data harvesting. In addition to the banking Trojan deployment, Water Saci has also been linked to the RelayNFC Malware campaign. This new strain specifically targets contactless payment systems, showcasing the group's versatility and willingness to exploit multiple vectors for financial gain. By employing advanced techniques like NFC relay attacks, Water Saci is broadening its scope of operations, indicating a troubling trend in the sophistication of cyber threats in Brazil. As the campaign unfolds, it is evident that Water Saci is not only a significant threat to individual users but also poses a broader risk to the financial security landscape in Brazil. The ongoing evolution of their tactics illustrates the need for heightened awareness and improved defenses against increasingly complex cyber threats. As Brazilian banking users navigate this evolving threat landscape, the consequences of sophisticated cyber attacks like those orchestrated by Water Saci are becoming increasingly severe. The shift to using familiar platforms like WhatsApp for malware distribution not only heightens the risk of infection but also complicates traditional security measures. Users are often lulled into a false sense of security, believing that communications from trusted contacts are safe, which significantly increases the likelihood of them falling victim to these scams. The multi-layered attack strategy employed by Water Saci means that even users with a basic understanding of cybersecurity may struggle to recognize the danger. The use of HTML application (HTA) files and deceptive PDFs as lures not only targets the technical vulnerabilities of systems but also exploits human psychology through social engineering tactics. As users are prompted to interact with these malicious attachments, their sensitive information becomes vulnerable to theft. Moreover, the implications of these attacks extend beyond individual users. Financial institutions face heightened risks as the malware specifically targets banking applications and services. This could lead to increased operational costs as banks need to invest more in cybersecurity defenses and customer education initiatives to mitigate these risks. Additionally, the potential for reputational damage looms large, as customers may lose trust in their bank's ability to protect their information. The emergence of the RelayNFC malware further complicates the situation, as it introduces a new vector for fraud through contactless payment systems. As more users adopt mobile payment technologies, the risk of NFC relay attacks becomes a pressing concern. This malware's ability to capture and relay payment data in real time means that users could unknowingly authorize fraudulent transactions, leading to financial losses and a lack of recourse. In light of these developments, Brazilian banking users are urged to remain vigilant. Employing robust security measures such as using two-factor authentication and regularly updating software can help mitigate the risks posed by these sophisticated threats. Furthermore, awareness campaigns aimed at educating users about recognizing phishing attempts and safe online practices are critical in bolstering defenses against these evolving cyber threats. The landscape is changing rapidly, and proactive measures are essential to protect both individual users and the integrity of the financial system in Brazil. As Brazil confronts the rising tide of sophisticated cyber threats, immediate and strategic actions are essential to bolster cybersecurity defenses. The Water Saci campaign exemplifies a new paradigm in cybercrime, where attackers exploit trusted communication platforms like WhatsApp to launch self-propagating malware attacks. This necessitates a multifaceted response that encompasses both technological and educational measures. First, enhancing the security infrastructure of messaging platforms must be prioritized. Developers should implement advanced threat detection systems that utilize machine learning algorithms to identify unusual patterns of behavior, such as unsolicited attachments from trusted contacts. Additionally, integrating end-to-end encryption with robust verification protocols can help prevent unauthorized access and the distribution of malicious content. Second, public awareness campaigns are vital. Users must be educated about the risks associated with opening unsolicited files, even from familiar contacts. Informative resources should be made available to help users recognize phishing attempts and understand the importance of verifying the legitimacy of messages before taking action. This could include interactive training modules that simulate phishing scenarios to reinforce awareness. Moreover, financial institutions should adopt a proactive stance by enhancing their security measures. This includes implementing real-time monitoring systems that can detect and respond to suspicious activities, as well as employing user behavior analytics to identify anomalies in transaction patterns. Regular communication with customers about emerging threats and best practices for safeguarding their accounts can further empower users. Collaboration among stakeholders is also crucial. Cybersecurity firms, government agencies, and private sector companies should work together to share intelligence on emerging threats and best practices. Establishing a centralized reporting mechanism for cybersecurity incidents can facilitate quicker responses and help build a comprehensive understanding of the threat landscape. Lastly, regulatory frameworks must evolve to address the challenges posed by these advanced cyber threats. Policymakers should consider setting minimum security standards for digital communication platforms and financial services, ensuring that they are equipped to handle sophisticated attacks. This could also include mandates for incident reporting and transparency to foster greater accountability. In conclusion, as Brazil faces an increasingly complex cyber threat environment, a concerted effort that combines technological innovation, user education, institutional vigilance, collaborative intelligence sharing, and regulatory reform is essential to mitigate risks and safeguard the digital landscape. Understanding RelayNFC malware and its mechanism. RelayNFC malware represents a significant evolution in cybercrime, particularly concerning contactless payment systems. This Android-based malware is designed to execute near-field communication (NFC) relay attacks, allowing attackers to perform fraudulent transactions as if they possess the victim's payment card. The malware operates by establishing a real-time application protocol data unit (APDU) relay channel, which effectively mimics the presence of the victim's card at a point-of-sale terminal. The distribution of RelayNFC primarily relies on phishing tactics, leveraging decoy websites that pose as security tools for payment cards. This social engineering approach is particularly effective in tricking users into downloading the malware under the guise of enhancing their card security. Once installed, RelayNFC requires the victim to tap their card on the infected device, which the malware uses to capture sensitive card information. The technical architecture of RelayNFC complicates detection efforts. Built using React Native and Hermes bytecode, it employs obfuscation techniques that hinder static analysis, making it difficult for cybersecurity solutions to identify the threat. This sophistication is indicative of a broader trend where malware authors are increasingly utilizing advanced programming frameworks to evade traditional security measures. Upon successfully capturing card data, RelayNFC prompts victims to input their PIN, which is also transmitted to the attackers via a WebSocket connection. This two-step process not only enhances the malware's effectiveness but also allows for seamless fraudulent transactions initiated by the attackers from their own devices. The relay mechanism is activated when the attacker sends a specially crafted message to the infected device, which forwards the necessary commands to the NFC subsystem, enabling real-time transactions without the victim's knowledge. Moreover, the RelayNFC campaign is indicative of a growing trend in malware development where threat actors are experimenting with various techniques, such as host card emulation, HCE, to further exploit NFC technology. Although the implementation of HCE in RelayNFC is still under development, its potential for facilitating remote attacks underscores the urgency for enhanced security measures and payment systems. The emergence of RelayNFC not only highlights the vulnerabilities within contactless payment infrastructures but also emphasizes the need for users to remain vigilant against phishing attempts and to implement robust security practices. As cybercriminals continue to innovate, understanding the mechanisms behind such malware is crucial for developing effective countermeasures and protecting sensitive financial information. If you found this update helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to InfoSec Now for the latest cybersecurity news. Your support really helps us continue building useful content for cybersecurity professionals.